You can. I'm more on the low on that ladder.
All
But
good.
I'm sure people would appreciate the change of scenery. Okay, good. All right, we're up.
Ooh,
You ready?
ready.
You're listening to MLVC, the Madonna podcast, your place for all things Madonna Louise, Veronica Ciccone. Wow, I haven't done that in a while. I've been letting Liberty do it. Hey everybody, it's Stefan. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend, and thank you for joining us and spending some time with us on your Sunday evening. Tonight on the show, we have listener and supporter Doug Malden Locke. Welcome to the show, Doug.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Stefan. I appreciate it.
You're you're beaming in from the celebration VIP room,
I
I
am.
see.
I'm living in the lounge. I'm not leaving.
You're living off of that, like the sticky and sweet candy, right?
I'm down to like three of the M&Ms. Like
What was in that? Because I was in the VIP lounge once and I was like a little too overwhelmed, so I couldn't even take in the food. There was candy, right? Like a bunch of candy.
there was a sticky and sweet table, which was candy, and they had a little server guy, and he had to get it. You couldn't get your own. He had to serve it to you.
Of
But it
course.
was like gummy worms and Twizzlers and
Uh,
Celebration Tour M&Ms.
right. They had the logo on them,
Yep.
which I thought was cute.
I still have a bag of them.
I
Uneaten.
I think I ate some, but I didn't take any because I was like, these are going to melt in a pocket. And honestly, Doug, I think we should all be very thankful that they had a guy serving that because I would not want some of those people's hands getting in the
Well,
VIP.
yeah, exactly. Well, but I mentioned that though, because at the buffet, like where the food was, you served yourself.
What food was at the buffet?
Oh gosh.
I think I only saw like hot wings, and I'm like, I am not touching a hot wing wearing like a custom made suit. Like, I'm sorry, like maybe if I had like just like a t-shirt on, but I was like, all it takes is one drunk Madonna fan to
Mm-hmm.
stumble into you and bloop. Yeah,
And
I
it's
was like, no,
over.
no, no, no.
And it was over. It was still, I did the VIP lounge in two different cities, and the food was different in both, but it was mainly meat and vegetables.
Mm. Oh, that's good. Gives you a little protein, give you a little energy to help endure
Mm-hmm.
the Madonna show, waiting for
Exactly.
Madonna. Yeah. Oh,
The,
so quick,
the
tell
show.
me, how many since I didn't get to have you. We spoke in person at
Yep.
Celebration, but I didn't actually have you on one of the Celebration tour shows. How many Celebration shows did you go to?
I did five.
Okay,
Two
which
in
ones?
two in DC, two in Chicago, and then Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Oh, so which Chicago? It was the second Chicago show that I saw you at then.
No, it was DC.
Oh, I'm sorry, DC. See,
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
like DC.
I meant DC, said Chicago.
You were in one pit and I was in the other pit.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And we visited beforehand.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
as you're like standing behind David Banda at one point, I'm like snapping paparazzi photos of you.
Yeah, a lot of people were really interested in chatting it up with David, and I was just, yeah, you know what? I I'm not gonna be that person to sort of try and get in with Madonna's
If
kids.
I
I
was
was
in
like,
Sound Factory that night, I would have gotten a selfie.
some people were. Yeah, I think some people were chatting with Mercy and David, and I didn't even know it was her. When
Yeah.
when Liberty was like, that's Mercy. I'm like, no, it's not. And it was. I was like, it just didn't. I guess up close, I didn't recognize her. She looked, you know what it was? She looked so much younger up close
Right.
in person than she did
Exactly.
when she was on stage. On stage, she looked like a grown woman. And when her and David were romping around in the little security pit, I was like, who's this little girl? Like, it was amazing how like night and day it was.
Exactly. And it was funny because as I was snapping those photos of you guys, David clocked me from a side and he gave me one of these. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop now.
Oh God, you have photos of me with David?
I did. I sent them
Okay,
to you.
I don't need to see those. I don't need to
Okay.
see those. I don't, yeah. It's okay. He's a nice guy though.
Oh, that's good.
Did you have fun in what was it, Danceteria?
It's Danceteria, yeah. I did both. I did Danceteria in DC and I did Sound Factory in Atlanta. I definitely like Sound Factory more.
Why?
Why? You get the baptism moment.
Hmm.
You know, you I got to see David do Mother and Father.
Uh-huh.
from that angle, which we're going to talk a little bit about later.
Sure.
But I don't know, that angle for me worked better. The Danceteria angle, just, I don't know. I felt like there was a lot less stage presence over there until you
Yeah,
got to
she
the
did
end.
favor the other side more for some reason. But yeah, and honestly, that baptism moment is much needed. By the time she's like, she should occasionally during that show, she should have like hosed down fans left and right because it was so hot in those venues. Like, yeah, it was a much needed thing. Well, so as Doug alluded, we do have a topic of the day. As you all know, the episode is titled "Madonna Saved My Life," and we are going to get to that in a little bit. It's very ominous sounding. I hope people were messaging me like
I really hope
she saved my life too. I can't wait to hear what this is all about. I'm like, I can't wait to hear what it's all about either.
I really hope we do it justice.
Yeah. Um, but before we do that, there's plenties of goings on in the Madonna verse, and since Liberty's not here, I'm not going to sing it, but you know
Oh,
she'll
can I
take
do
us
it?
there. That's right. Don't just stand there. Let's get to it. It's time for a little This Week in Ciccone. So first up, as we all know, Madonna flew to Milan, Italy for the Dolce and Gabbana show, and Mother brought it. Like she, just when you thought New York Fashion Week had become like the top tier of Madonna fashion this month, she drops it in Milan. And I don't. What did you think of the lace get
Um,
up that she wore?
she was definitely like queen of the night.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, she looked beautiful. Um, I somebody had messaged me. They're like, "Oh, that's so nice that she went to the show to support Dolce and Gabbana." I'm like, they paid her. Like for any of you not in the know, Madonna didn't just decide to go to Dolce and Gabbana just because. People are paid to go to those fashion shows, Madonna included. Uh, I'm assuming they paid for her airfare. They paid her a fee, and I'm assuming they probably paid for her team to go as
Okay, for
well.
her entourage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she's got to have some hair and makeup and uh Ricardo and put them they put her up at that sweet hotel with that pool in the suite.
Hmm.
Um so yeah, those are not favors for friends. Those are financial engagements, which is why we then got a very beautiful video of her preparing.
Exactly.
Love that. Love when we get some Madonna video. And yeah, she looked beautiful. I mean, just, I loved the veil over. And then when she took it off for the after party, she looked great. And I loved the little video of her going into the car and she's being flirty and friendly. And it was just like, she looked really happy and upbeat. And I was like, well, if people were paying me $300,000, allegedly, I don't know how much the actual fee is, but to get Madonna to Italy, I'm sure it wasn't no like, oh, here's $1,000, Madonna. But I'm assuming she also probably got all the clothes,
Of course.
right?
How could she not?
Like
Like,
Dolce and Gabbana was probably, I mean, after the show was over, they walked the catwalk just to her.
hmm?
So you know she was the top paid celebrity for that. And yeah, I'm assuming she probably got everything that was any type of women's wear that they have coming out. They probably just were like, it'll be there when you get home, Madonna.
Yeah, she probably got the whole collection. Really.
Absolutely. Yeah. But her whole family's wearing Dolce and
Exactly.
Gabbana.
Just handing it out.
I know, lucky. I mean, God. Um, so today, September 29th, if you're watching this live, is otherwise known as the day Erotica was released back in 1992. Doug is supporting that cause by wearing Dita. I was wearing Dita earlier, but as I told Doug in the pre-show, I went to a diner for lunch and I smelled of diner after I left, and I could not wear the t-shirt, so I
That
had
would
to.
just kill the erotica mood.
Totally does. Yeah. It's like maybe if it smelled of like body odor or like a sex dungeon, whatever you envision a sex dungeon to smell like poppers, I don't know. Something lube, but like not like eggs and
Right.
potatoes
Kitchen
and
and grease and
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's I mean grease maybe erotica but not food grease. Totally not. Um I remember this day when erotica came out. Were you old enough to remember
Oh,
erotica being at least.
honestly, yeah, we'll get to this, but like, yes, a erotica was there at a major point in my life.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, so good. Table that. We'll get back to it. But yes, so happy anniversary, Dita.
Yes.
Um, one of my favorite eras. So I'm always
For
happy
being
to
our
I'm
Miss.
always happy to celebrate anything Dita.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but speaking of the early 90s, so around the same time that erotica era had begun, you might remember that Madonna did a like girly show tour interview for MTV with that British woman friend of hers that was, I forget the name of her. I want to say Juliana, but I'm blanking on her name.
I don't remember.
People will
I
remind
remember
me.
the interview.
People will remind me in the comments.
Yes.
Um, but during that interview, model Jenny Shimizu joined her. And just now, 31 years later, Jenny dropped details of her lesbian relationship with Madonna. And scandal, but not
Yeah, a
really.
little,
Like, I think
little sad.
everyone's making a big stink out of it, but I was like, well, good for her, you
Look,
know?
we live once. Experience life.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, they were young and beautiful and having a vibrant time. So more power to them. Yes, apparently Jenny says that Madonna would call her up to come visit her at her hotel. And I quote Jenny, they would bring each other to sexual ecstasy.
Okay.
Doesn't sound like a bad way to spend some time to me.
Wasn't this in the Miami era? Was this the Miami era?
Yeah, but
Yeah. So,
Jenny said it would be like when Madonna would be in London and Jenny would be in Paris
okay.
for a fashion show, and Madonna would be like, "Fly over." And you know how easy it is to get from like London to Paris. You know, it's like, come on.
Hmm.
So I that's a booty call right there. I love that. I mean, of course, Madonna's not going to weigh in because why should she? But um, yeah, I loved it.
He's done looking back. Celebration's over. We're not looking.
Yeah. No, that's not true because if she's working on the biopic, she's still back there.
Ah,
She's still
ooh.
back there. I wonder if Jenny will make a
Oh God. So
cameo.
she pulled up all this. She's like, oh my God, I didn't write this in.
Yeah. Jenny, exactly. Jenny's just trying to get in the biopic. That's where this is coming from. She's like, "Oh, Madonna, don't forget."
No, it's gonna be like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah. Um, last thing on the docket for this week in Chicone that I wanted to talk about was so this past week, Lady Gaga released her Harlequin album. It was music from and inspired by the film Joker. I had to comment, and I think many a Madonna fan did as well, that it was nice to see Gaga having her "I'm Breathless" moment.
100%.
Like the moment she mentioned that she was releasing a companion album to the soundtrack, I was like, oh, she's doing her "I'm Breathless" era now. That's so fun.
Like what's old is new, been here before.
hmm I
Yes.
mean, good for her. I mean, the songs are cute, you know, like and I'm glad that she's got like an official era coming right afterwards. But I just, yeah, I'm like it. Uh, and again, no shade to Lady Gaga at all because I love her music and I think she's very talented. But it is very fun that she like has this Madonna playbook where it's like, and now I've done this and I've done this and oh, okay, now I'm going to check off the "I'm Breathless" era. So just funny
Well,
that,
and I was listening to it today, and I'm sitting here going, okay, she's now going again for all the awards. She wants the Grammy again. She wants another
yep,
Oscar. She wants the Globe, whether it's going to be for acting or for music. She's like, I am going for it from every angle.
yep, yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure. And hey, if that's important to her, you know, I mean, with the biopic, I wonder if that's Madonna's plan is to try to rack up some awards again because she got denied that Oscar. So this is her chance, you know,
Yeah.
like if she's gonna get it. Um, and I wonder what I'm assuming it would be for best song. Like if Madonna
Yeah.
records
Because
a new song, it would,
Masterpiece was robbed.
yeah,
It
for
was in the
sure.
wrong place in the credits. Masterpiece was robbed.
Yeah.
That was going to be your moment. Yeah, it's going to be song.
Yeah. So I think whenever that biopic finally And who knows how long we'll have to wait for that biopic to land. I mean, it could start filming next year. It could be start filming in 3 years. We don't know.
Or
Um,
we'll do the 5 decade tour. We'll get it.
yeah, I know. I do wonder if there's other like if she's thinking, oh, let's postpone the biopic a little bit longer and go back out on the road again. Would you be happy to go back on like so question, if she was to go back on the road, and again, this is all hearsay.
Yep.
I'm just we're just fantasizing. If she was to like, hey, I'm going to go back out on tour again, would you A, want it to just be the Celebration tour again, no changes, or B, would you want her to release a new album and sprinkle some of that in to the Celebration tour? Or sorry, I'm adding a C now. C, new album, new tour, nothing to do with Celebration.
Oh, so I would go to any of the above because look, no, seriously, with the health scare last year,
Yeah.
I do not take any moment for granted. And if she's out there, I will be there.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, I'm on board. It's like whatever she's got serving it up. I'm like, I I mean, I can't imagine that she, after such a wonderful final moment with Rio, that she would want to like trot out
No, take
the
anything away from
Celebration
that.
tour again. I just think it just seems like it would be disingenuous to the ending of that.
Hmm.
But hey, I mean, if it was successful and that's what she wants to do, good for her. But
No, I look at Sticky and Sweet second leg where there were some changes. Like if that were to happen, I would hope there's some changes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I would want like I if she was to let's just fantasize if she was to come back out with Celebration, I would want like a whole end section of just new stuff, just for fun, and then fine end like with music Celebration, bitch I'm Madonna again, whatever. But like, I she would have to have some new stuff in there,
Yep, 100%.
if you ask me, you know.
Reinvent it. That's what she does.
Exactly. I just can't imagine that she would redo the same. I mean, because that tour was like over the course of 2 years. I mean, it started in 23 and ended in
Yep.
24. So yeah, I just can't imagine that she would do the same thing again.
No, I mean the book is closed. If she's going to reopen the book, she's going to rewrite it.
Yeah, there's an addendum or something, like um all right. So everyone, I invited Doug on the show this week because he's always been such a generous and long-standing donator and supporter of the show. So Doug, thank you so much for your invaluable support over the years. When I asked Doug to come on the show, I had told him that he would get to choose what we spoke about today. And he asked if we could talk about how Madonna saved his life. And I said, of course. So Doug, I know I'm intrigued. I know our audience is intrigued. Tell us, how did Madonna save your life?
Oh, first, I want to say thank you for doing what you do with this show because through all my life, like where has that outlet been for people to talk Madonna? Someone
Yeah.
somewhere to get that fix every week or every other week or when something happens, and it's just there's not enough outlets for that. So the fact that you have brought the people together, in this way, thank you, Stefan and Tony and Ben and Liberty. Like you guys are icons to me. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And yes, the other three, they left me out to dry. They were like, sorry, Stefan, we can't join you today. And I was like, that's fine, that's fine. We're having an intimate conversation, Doug. It's we don't need we didn't want to bog it down with other people. So it's just but thank you.
That's
Yes,
fine. Well, and I was there the night of your Rebel Heart
oh my
performance.
God, I know. I can't. It's so funny that you were in Philadelphia for that. That's so funny.
So, and I was right there at the end of the Heart Runway, and you came up those stairs, and I'm like, oh, he's so lucky. Look at him. He's got the bitch on Madonna shirt on, and da 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 da. I was like happy. I was happy for you, living your best life for all of us. And
Hmm.
then like your world exploded, and you're reaching out to everybody under the sun. Do you have do you have more videos? Do you have everything? So that's actually the first time we ever interacted.
Oh, did I harass you for pictures?
You did.
Because what happened was so that I knew I had a small window of time to like try and grab all the pictures and videos before people moved on. And
Right.
so I think I just went on Instagram and saw who was tagging or checking in at the
Hmm.
Wells Fargo Center. And anyone that was there that night, I then messaged and said, "Hey, I'm that guy who danced on stage with Madonna. Do you
Yep.
have any pictures or video?" And I think you had sent me something.
Yep.
So
It was wonderful. I was so happy to do it too. So
yeah, that was a blur. That whole I was exhausted and it was a blur. That whole the couple days afterwards. I didn't even like it was I was inundated with messages. But anyway, this is not about me.
no, no, no.
This
I
is
just
about
wanted to do my
you.
little acknowledgement of you
Well,
guys.
yeah, I'm thank you for I'm glad you were there to witness that. To witness me like almost passing out when Madonna was talking to me.
You did fine.
I always say the dancing was great because it gave me an activity so I didn't have to like I couldn't focus on the
Right.
nervousness because
Exactly.
I was dancing and I'm singing with she's holding my hand. It was when we stopped and she was talking to me that literally I mean I couldn't get any saliva in my mouth. My facial muscles were so exhausted from smiling and living that
Hmm.
I had to force myself to smile. I didn't know if I could touch her. It was great. There was so many
Right.
things rapidly happening in that
Well,
moment and I
the
was
dancers are like kind of holding you in place as you went down the runway. Like they've got hands on you're holding her hand, but they've got their hands on you, you
yeah,
know.
they were I mean, if you look in the video, they're always like they're leaning in to sort of like tell the fan or whoever it is that's on stage with her at that moment what to do. I'd seen the
Mhm.
show the week before though, so I knew it. And I kept telling them like, I got it, I got it. You know, like they're like, and we're gonna turn around and give the finger in three. I'm like, yeah, I know.
No, you
It's
were
like,
right on time with all of
yeah,
it. My
exactly. I'm like, hey, if you get it to go and up on stage with Madonna, you don't mess around. You know what I mean? Like
so
you got one moment.
So I remember you talking about this on another episode, and you would what were you going to do when you got up there? I would have done the deep knee squats. I would have done
I
it.
almost did.
I would have done it.
Yeah, I my herniated discs are thanking me for not attempting that
I
because
would have.
I know I would have fallen on my ass.
No, I think the Madonna glory would have carried through, and then the next day be in the hospital.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
the funniest moment though is when she actually says she goes, "You're shitting yourself," you know.
For real. Yeah.
Anywho, thank you.
Anyway. So yeah, so take us back, Doug. Let's how give us some
So,
context.
yeah, I mean to put a bow on it to kind of summarize it, how Madonna saved my life was having the right songs, the right themes, the right messages at the right times when I needed them the most through the toughest times and the
Mm-hmm.
best of times. Like
Mm-hmm.
there were good times and then the dark times. Um, through the all the various chapters or eras of my life, like she's been the one constant, always
Mm.
there for me whether she knows it or not. She is truly been like that one north star, that one guiding light through life, through love, through family, through spirituality, and even parenthood.
Mm.
So
So
Madonna
take me back for a moment. So when did Madonna pop onto your radar?
so I was young. I was 9, and I was raised by a single mom. She moved us back and forth between Massachusetts and Florida a few times, but we just had MTV on in the house, and I remember parading through the living room, and the Lucky Star video was on,
Mm-hmm.
and I just remember stopping and just staring and being like, this is different. Like something about her just made me stop and be in awe, because there was no pop music in my house. But our house was very Rolling Stones, Tom Petty,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of rock era, 70s, 80s. Um, but that Lucky Star video just kind of like hypnotized me. So then anytime I could get the TV to myself, I would just start trolling MTV at any hour to see if that girl would come on again. 'Cause,
Uh-huh.
like, and then eventually I saw the Burning Up video, um, and the Borderline video, like, and I would just like hypnotize, but like a Virgin blew my mind because, like,
Mm.
as a young little gay boy who has not figured himself out yet, like it was her and the Lion Man. Like he was the Lion Man was the guy in that video. Like in my I named him the Lion Man. And I
Hmm.
was kind of like, oh, I want to be her and be with the Lion Man. So that's that my discovery of her was, through video, and the thing I liked about her was that she was mine because no one else in the house was listening to that kind of music or
Right,
that kind
right.
or watching that kind of an artist. Like she was all mine.
And when was the first time that you would say that she helped you, and in what way did she help you?
Um, it was probably in my teens, but like the whole, like Desperate Seeking Susan was the first PG-13 movie I got to see. I like convinced a babysitter to take us to go see it when
Nice.
we weren't supposed to. But the True Blue, Who's That Girl, You Can Dance eras, like that was bubbly fun, and it kind like as she matured and evolved musically, it kind of aligned with how I was maturing, like as a teen.
Sure.
Like a Prayer and Express Yourself were big milestones because they were the first songs and videos where I started to really defend her.
Hmm.
Like I would have parents, like whether it was critics or other parents or teachers, or we would, oh, she's trashy, she's grabbing her crotch, and da da da. And like I really started getting like militantly protective of her. Vogue was like shooting off a cannon
Yeah.
because that like I was in high school and I was seeing like the seniors and everybody voguing badly through the hall, and that was the one where I was just kind of like, I want to learn how to dance. I want to be able to do that. So I started mimicking the video and then the Blonde Ambition footage, and I would just she was mine, and
Yeah.
I actually performed Vogue in my school's variety show in front of a group of very conservative, homophobic, judgmental, other high schoolers, and I didn't care. I just did it, and I actually was I did my best version of the Blonde Ambition, just black leotard costume, and I just went for it,
Oh, fun.
So like,
Where are the pictures and video of that?
I don't have them. But really, where she what came to my aid was, and it's kind of like the great fallout. So in the fall of 92, just around when Erotica and the sex book were being released, I was 17 years old. Um, and you know how most kids, like when they reach a certain age, they leave the nest?
Mm.
In my story, in my situation, the nest left me.
Hmm.
And it was rather sudden and pretty unexpected. Um, So, so I was raised by a single mom. It was her and two kids. I have a younger sister, and she had kids at a young age, and
Yeah.
I feel for her now as an adult and as a parent much more than I did at that time.
Of
But
course.
like, I think having kids at a young age kind of took her life from her and took her goals and what she wanted to do from her. So she decided to move away,
Mm.
and I was getting ready to finish up high school. I was like studying to work in TV and stuff. And she just packed my sister up and moved. And I came home one day to a note,
Oh,
$500,
wow.
and nothing left in the house but a rocking chair and what was in my bedroom.
Oh, man.
So that was like, the lightning bolt and the shock, and I was completely beside myself, and the first thing I did is I turned on This Used to Be My Playground,
Mm.
and I just played it over and over and over, and I could not compose myself, so I just immersed myself in like and that actually, this used to be my playground and Promise to Try. For some reason, like I went to those songs. I remember holding on to my little boombox CD player. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
tape player. It was a tape player, and just crying and sobbing and not knowing what the hell I was going to do. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm a kid. Like, so overnight, had to become an adult, had to get a job, had to learn how to pay bills. The good thing is she owned the house, but it was a two-family house. So all of a sudden I start collecting rent from upstairs and mailing her checks, and so it was that was a trauma,
Yeah,
and like it really felt like abandonment.
for
And
sure.
even though, my mother had just left me, it was like she was dead to me. It was like she had died to me, and kind of just immersing myself in Madonna's songs was the only way I could cope.
Yeah. Sure. I'm sure it was, you needed something familiar and safe,
Yep.
and that was Madonna's music. So,
No, 100%. And then I got angry, like real angry. And I would again, I would go to school. I got a job at a movie theater because I needed money. And I would just kind of come home and I was immersed in myself in the Erotica album. But Erotica, especially what was going with the backlash that Madonna started to get, like Erotica became like the anger album, like and then stuff that was happening, like, other adults, my mother's friends, whatever, they would call the house and be like, "Hi, is your mom?" I'm like, "No, she moved." They're like, "What?" They're like, "Don't make stories up."
oh,
Like,
so
what?
they didn't even
No,
know.
when I say that it was sudden, it was sudden and very unexpected.
Wow.
But like I had people accuse me of lying, and then I had other people come over and you know try like pity me, give me a meal, maybe throw a few bucks my way, but then they would disappear,
Hmm.
you know, and as every time that happened, each one I got more and more upset and distressed and whatever. So like Bye Bye Baby, Thief of Hearts, Words, because when my mother and I started talking again, it was all we did was fight. It was just fight after fight after fight after fight. So, basically, being left and abandoned and turned away from by so many for something that I didn't even do, like that cut deep, like
Yeah.
real deep.
Well, and I assume like, yeah, the energy and the mood on some of the songs on
Hmm.
Erotica, even if it's not like about the situation, it's evoking the same type of emotional
Exactly.
response.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I could
Word
see I
cut
could
like
see
a knife.
Thief of Hearts would be a really great like
Yep.
angry song.
Thief of Hearts and Words really like, yeah, Words, they cut like a knife, cut into my life,
Yeah.
because it was like this. So, from there, like 93 to 95 were hard. Like I went into
Oh,
a
I can
pretty
imagine.
pretty deep depression and became very insecure about loss and abandonment. And I started like getting desperate and grasping at any straw to not be alone. I started asking like random people to be my roommate so I wouldn't have to live alone. And I made a ton of mistakes,
Hmm.
Like, and I let the wrong people in,
Yeah.
and they started having house parties and trashing the place
Oh
and
God.
bringing in cats and then trashed the basement. And one got a girl pregnant and wanted the baby mama to move into the house with
Oh
us. And the
no.
house literally became a circus. And I was spiraling,
Hmm.
and then the girly show went out on the road. I couldn't go because I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
But I followed the press and then the HBO special, and that the girly show tour kind of gave me something to anchor to,
Uh-huh.
and thank God HBO aired it because that was like the Hail Mary moment because I had worked out my Blonde Ambition VHS to death. So getting Girly Show gave me something to distract myself with, but also new choreography to learn
Yep.
and um, just something to pull me up. And then I'll remember in early 94, like
Uh-huh.
became the first song that really transformed in my head to mourning the loss of my family. Like, and that started to happen a lot with subsequent songs. Like she wrote them for, what they mean to her,
Hmm.
and then they would kind of like translate for me and become very introspective on like what I was going through. So like, I'll remember never been afraid to cry. Now I finally have a reason why. Like
Yeah.
that hit me real. And my depression was probably at the worst at that point. Like I felt like a total screw up. I kept questioning everything. I was letting the roommates walk all over me, verbally abuse me. And I just felt helpless. So yeah, she was keeping me together. And
Hmm.
the Bedtime Stories album, when that dropped, and so the first time I heard Survival,
Mm.
I was I got the tape. I was in the, at that time we listened to it in the car, right? That was the first
Yeah.
time we played stuff. And I played Survival and it stopped me. Like I was in the parking lot at the mall and it stopped me, a little up and down and all around. It's all about survival. I stopped and I rewound it and I played that again and I was like, okay, I've got to fix this.
Mm.
Like I couldn't get past that song. Like I played it again and again and again as I drove home. And what it said to me was that I had to recognize that life is going to have its ups and downs, but we have to fight. We have to
Yeah.
fight through if we're going to survive. And I'm not kidding. Between that and human nature, it kind of gave me the confidence to fight back, to
Hmm.
kick out the roommates. I got a better job and I said to myself, I am turning this around because it was bad and dark and a lot of things were happening. And I had one roommate, he was a football player, stronger than me, but human nature gave me the strength to fight back against him because he pretty much was a bully.
Hmm.
And I had to get in his face and say, I am not your bitch. Don't hang your shit on me.
Hmm.
And it was so funny because he never heard the song. He didn't listen to Madonna. And somehow like that made he backed off. Like that made him back off because we were in a fight. Like it was physical and he backed off and actually he left. He got his parents to fix everything around the house that they broke with windows and doors and all kinds like but some like
What's wrong with people? Like, seriously, what is wrong with people? Like,
but like again, I'm not your bitch. Don't hang your shit on me. Like that it worked. It helped. And
hmm, it was what you needed at that moment in time.
yep. Yep. So 90 to the 95, where I called like 92 like the great fallout. 95 for me was the great reset,
Mm.
because
And
the
for Madonna as well.
yeah, no, no, see that so, the house that I was living in, it started to feel like a curse. Like I at that point because I had kicked everybody out, the adults that knew me had all abandoned me. Um I felt so alienated by most of who I knew. I had a few friends that I had known from middle school who kind of stuck by me and are still my friends today, and I love them dearly. But I knew I had to get the hell out of there. I just couldn't
Mm.
stay there anymore. And we're in Western Massachusetts. And I just kept thinking about Madonna's story, leaving Michigan, going to New York with nothing, and making it. So I was like, screw it, I'm leaving. So I went to Boston that summer of
Hmm.
'95. I rented a basement apartment around South Boston and took a summer relief job at a TV station and absolutely hated it. I hated the basement apartment.
Yeah.
I hated the people in Boston. The people of the city, it was not my thing, that city. So I also hated the cold.
Yeah. I
I
can
hate
imagine.
hated the
I'm right
cold.
there with you.
So I started looking for jobs in the South and moved to Orlando. I had lived in Florida before, like as a small child. Um, Orlando, ended up being the right fit. I had Disney. I, made fast friends where I was working. Like it was the perfect environment for a 21-year-old gay boy to blossom, right?
Hmm.
You'll See was released about 2 months after I moved to Orlando. And it was such an anthem of empowerment for me at that time, with Madonna's Evita trained vocals
Right.
and the video follow up to Take a Bow. Like the bullfighter became in my mind like everything that I put behind me, the roommates, mother, and that song became me telling everything from my past. Like you think I have nothing without you by my side. You'll see somehow, some way. That everything in that song, I was like, it was literally me resetting everything. And
Hmm.
and her putting that song out at that moment was like phenomenal. I was like, oh my God, this is where I am right now. And it
Yeah.
filled me with the empowerment to truly find me, to figure out what made me happy, focus on those things, and then make sure that every decision I was making was about bettering my situation and my future. So, 96 to 97, the Evita era, like that was really my party era. Like I kind of like I did, I had my you'll see moment. I shut the door on the past. The Evita era was my party era. All the clubs in Orlando, Club Firestone. I would do Runway to the Miami mix of Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, and I would
Uh-huh.
be like hundreds of people on the dance floor, and I would be on the runway just, doing the Evita and just living like just living the empowerment every night. I just think about how Madonna made it in the clubs, and to that extent, how much I was kind of making it in the clubs and having the time of my life and making new friends and finding me. Um, Ray of Light came along, 98, and that album, contributed to as much of my maturing as it reflected in Madonna's.
Mm,
Like Substitute for Love got me thinking about stabilizing the relation in the relationship department and about family. Because I up to that point I was, I closed the door, I put everything in past me. But I started to realize how much I longed for my own family again.
yeah.
I was on my own. Um, you know, had some relationships, and then Power of Goodbye helped me get out of some of those relationships. But it was Nothing Really Matters, where I felt Madonna's autobiographical writing really mirrored where I'd been through life and where I wanted to be.
Hmm.
That song stuck with me and became my mantra for years and years, even to this day. And when she
Oh,
added,
so you must have loved that at
yes,
Celebration.
oh my God, when she added it to Celebration Tour and those first opening night videos were on YouTube, I'm watching on my phone and I'm literally crying. And I said out loud, she actually did it. Like she did it. And I was gonna get to see my mantra performed live on stage. And that was so huge. I was so excited for that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that was such a gift. I mean, I don't know if people really understand. Like that song was a great song when she released it, and I think it was one of those like fan favorites because I mean, it didn't really it wasn't on the radio and
no, I mean, it
like
peaked at like 98 or 97 on the Hot 100. Like,
yeah, and like I mean, the video was cool, and I think Madonna fans enjoyed it more than anybody else really.
right.
But yeah, it was such a gift that she performed that because it was just so unexpected
Yeah, but if you think about it, it actually was like the perfect summary to open a show that looked back on 4 decades.
for sure.
Looking at my life.
Yeah, it was weird how like I never would have thought that that's what that song would have been about.
Hmm.
And then seeing that, I was like, oh my God, how perfect.
Yeah. Yep. But music was just a more of a fun era. I clung to it, as I kind of went in and out of some relationships, so like Amazing and Runaway Lover and I Deserve It, like they were like love therapy.
Hmm.
But then along came American Life. And I was about a year into what is now, I guess, my current relationship when that album was released, and oh my God, it instantly became like self-help therapy album. Like, I'm So Stupid summed up basically everything about how I felt about my 20s.
Hmm.
Um, Ecstatic Process was all about, self-esteem for me, like body esteem, self-esteem, mental esteem. Um, Nothing Fails, like really captured how I felt about my boyfriend at the time, who, is my husband today. And
Hmm.
we're celebrating our 20 years this year, which is,
Oh wow, congrats.
thank you. But like it was such a Kabbalah album, with all the messages and all the writing. It actually inspired me to look into Kabbalah more, and I did study Kabbalah for about 4 years because of the
Do you
American
have
Life
your red
album.
thread?
I did, and it's so funny because when you wear the red string, you actually have to have someone else like read the mantra. Like you say an internal blessing, but somebody else actually has to do all the work.
Uh-huh.
It was, but I had a teacher. I wore the red string, and I got what I needed from it. Like
Hmm.
I still actually have all the Zohar chapters, but like a view of spirituality, and how we're all interconnected, and how to open myself up to a view of the universe that's more than just me and my selfish being, and how to give myself to someone else and something else, and also forgiveness. because that is something that does not come easy to me because of what's happened in my life and in my past.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I really was able to open myself up to love and
Mm,
to start to forgive.
sure.
But it was Mother and Father that hit me the hardest of any Madonna song to date, then up to now. Um, there was a time I was happy in my life. There was a time I thought I'd live forever. There was a time that I prayed to Jesus Christ. There was a time I had a mother. It was
Hmm.
um that song, in my brain, because I did not know my father. So I kind of like the roles reverse a little bit to me. It's more like father and mother.
Yeah, yeah.
But like that song spoke to exactly what I had been through. And the ending section where it's like, I gotta give it up, find someone to love me, I gotta let it go, find someone that I can care for. That was like, that's honestly when I was like, okay, I am going to find someone I can care for. And that became my biggest goal. I wanted a family. I had a good man. He asked me to marry him. I said yes. But then, like, even when I sing it out loud, though, like, as the song ends, instead of saying, I got to give it up, I say, I had to give it up. I found someone to love me. I had to let it go. I found someone that I can care for.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, even today, like that song centers me and is like, it is my comfort baby.
Hmm.
Just it holds me and it stands me up. And if I'm having a bad day or if I'm having a down moment, that's the one I play. So the fact that Mother and Father was featured so predominantly on the Celebration tour, so nothing really matters, and Mother and Father, those are actually the two songs I recorded at
Uh-huh.
every show, because they meant so much to me.
Yeah, I was surprised that she did Mother and Father too. Like
Yeah.
that was another one where I was like, considering this is a greatest hits,
Right.
it was surprising that she did that. And I loved that she included it though.
hmm Well, and I understand why. It was like she had to touch on parenthood somehow
Yeah,
in that retrospective. So that was probably the most fitting one to do
sure.
it. Um, but then, for me, then along came parenthood. Like in 2010, my husband and I decided that we wanted to become parents. So we started the adoption process, and in January 2011, we brought home a beautiful baby girl who is now a teenager.
Oh
And we're
wow.
going through all of those things. But I remember playing Mer Girl from my head, yeah, from Ray of Light, whenever our daughter was having a sleepless night, or she got sick or whatever. And the parallels in Mergirl kind of came back like a big wave. Like, I ran from my house that cannot contain me. It's me running away,
Hmm. Hmm.
from the man that I cannot keep. My mother, past relationship, abusive relationships, my mother who haunts me, even though she's gone, from my daughter that never sleeps. Like,
Hmm.
it was so on point. And again, just, it was like a blanket.
Yeah.
It was like being wrapped in a blanket and having that. And then we used to do a soothing playlist when our daughter was a baby to kind of get her to help her sleep. I actually I snuck a couple little gems in there, like Ecstatic Process was in there. Put a couple of the soft songs in there as part of her playlist. And it was fun because she went through her phase where she really humored me through her toddler years and my Madonna obsession. Like, she would sing Vogue and she would strike poses, and she mimicked Madonna when she did the Living for Love at the Grammys. You know? So I would put that on YouTube, and she would put a little vest on and she would mimic the performance and take the vest off, and Madonna took her vest off. And um
That's cute.
so yeah, I've had a lot of fun with my daughter over the years. Not so much now in the teen years. Now Madonna's
Yeah,
just,
they turn their back on Madonna when they get to the teen years.
but kind of coming back to, mother and father, like, I found someone I can care for. I found someone I can care for. I had to give it up.
Hmm.
Like, it was great. It's so, but I truly believe if these songs, if that woman and the strength in her life and her messages was not there, I don't know where I would be. I don't know that I would still be here, because those dark times were dark.
Yeah. Well, wait. So, and you mentioned something about Rebel Heart earlier today to
Yeah.
me, and hence the reason why I'm wearing the Rebel Heart tour T-shirt today, instead of Dita, but because I've had Rebel Heart swimming in my head, which
Hmm.
never happens. Like that's one of those songs where I'm like, yeah, it's cute, I know it, but I never like. I listened to it today a couple times, and it's just been like repeating in my head like a little earworm. Tell me what the significance is for you in Rebel Heart.
So the title track of Rebel Heart is where it's at for me. That song is almost as autobiographical for Madonna as it is for me. Like that first verse of feeling like you didn't belong, getting I told you so about your parents, feeling like she needed a different tribe, that was everything for me, especially after my mother left. Like I did not fit. I did
Mm,
not fit in anywhere with anybody, and I knew I had to get out. And then I took the road less traveled by. I raced from Massachusetts to Florida.
yeah.
I found myself. I spread my wings. All the things I did to be seen, you know. And I look back and I was like, hell yeah, this is me right where I'm supposed to be.
Hmm.
Like that period in Orlando where I found myself. I spread my wings and I became who I am. Um, Rebel Heart. That is like it's almost like the victory lap.
Hmm.
It's like, oh my God, look where I was, look what I went through, and here I am now. And
Yeah.
I can look back on all of that and be like, hell yeah, I did that. And
Yeah.
I'm here and I've made something of myself.
Hmm. Well, Doug, first of all, thank you for sharing your story with us because um, I know that was personal, and so thank you for going there and
Thank
sharing that
you.
with our audience. I'm glad that you were able to have someone like Madonna there to help you in your time of need, and that she was such a beacon of light for you, a ray of light for you.
Yep.
Um,
And I
and
feel
that you were able to take the positive message out of what she was giving, and that it helped lead you in the right direction. Um, I'm sure, I hope that many other people have sort of received her message
I
as
agree.
well, and that it's helped them just as much. I'm happy that that happened to you,
Thank
and
you.
I hope that maybe her next album resonates in some sort of euphoric. I mean, I guess that the celebration tour was probably a nice sort of like feather in your cap in terms
Absolutely.
of like you were probably celebrating just as much.
Yep, that's why I went 5 times because I was just kind of like I was it brought a lot of memories back, but I was
Mm,
reliving a lot of eras, and I know my story is not unique, and I know a lot of people had it harder and differently, um, and I truly believe this woman, saves lives.
yeah,
Again, whether she knows it or not.
yeah, yeah, and I think that's the magic of music in general, whether it be Madonna's music or somebody else's music, that it it anchors you to a time in your life when you first hear that song, and the message, sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't, but I think when the message really affects you and resonates with your situation, that you'll always be tied to it no matter what. And that's great that you have so many of those examples with Madonna's music.
Yeah. What's crazy is like with each album, I didn't go looking for,
Sure.
what's my next therapy song. Like they just happened, and they
Hmm.
just always happened to align with where I was in my journey. And the fact that Madonna has been with us for as long as she has and has been as open with us as long as she has. Who else does that? Who else has
Yeah.
done that at the same level that she has, to literally be there for my, I've got a milestone birthday coming up in a month, to literally have been there my entire life, and she's more mother to me than anyone.
Yeah. Well, well, again, thanks for sharing your story. It was beautiful. And well, we're now going to do a slight pivot because, as you know, Doug, there's a little segment on this show that we like to call the lightning round. These answers are meant to be quick off the top of your head, wherever you're at in your Madonna journey. Don't think too hard. Favorite Madonna song?
I think I would be totally hypocritical if I didn't say mother and father right now.
Hey, if you were like, if Spanish lesson was getting you through today,
Right. Well, I mean, look, Vogue and Ray of Light, Express Yourself, like all the hits are definitely there, and I love them. But
sure.
like, what is in here the
Hmm.
most is Mother and Father.
Hmm. Favorite Madonna album?
Ray of Light.
Favorite Madonna music video?
Ooh, video. Oh God. Vogue.
Mm. Favorite Madonna tour?
Blonde Ambition.
Oh, okay. Have you seen all her? What? So, did you get to see Blonde Ambition, or you were too young for
No,
that?
I was too young. I was not allowed. I didn't get to go. No, I've seen everything since Drowned World.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that was a meaty tour, Drown World.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite Madonna movie?
Movie, Desperate Seeking Susan.
Favorite Madonna look, and this can be from a video, a tour, a photo shoot.
Um, okay, I want to say the Oscars 91. I felt like that was the most Hollywood glam I feel
Hmm.
ever was. And hello, she had Michael Jackson on her arm as an accessory. Like,
Yeah. Talk about iconic.
the dress, the hair, the face, everything. I just
Yeah.
that Oscar 91 is for me is that's the look.
Hmm. Um, well, everybody, that's our show. Um, Doug, I think you did the title good. I think I
Thank
think you
you.
I think Madonna saved your life. I think you rose to the occasion for sure. Do you want to share your social handles in case any Madonna fans would like to connect with you?
Yeah, so I do have like a Madonna centric Instagram and YouTube channel dml.mdna because I wanted a Madonna curated social page to not mix with all my other fandoms.
Yeah.
And my personal Instagram is Doug M. Locke.
Cool. And we'll tag you so that way people can find you. Just a quick heads up for everyone listening. A reminder, Facebook has shut down our Facebook group because apparently they're shutting down tons of fan groups all across the board due to alleged impersonation. Uh,
Travesty.
yeah, it's so yeah, I heard rumors that like other people were reporting people, and I don't get involved. The same stuff on the YouTube, on the our Instagram is what we would post on Facebook. So no harm, no foul. It's
Right.
just I know that there was a bunch of people who only were on Facebook. So if you're listening to this and wondering where our Facebook page went, Facebook shut it down. Literally, I logged in and they were like, your Facebook page group page is going to be shut down. If you think that we've done this in error, you can
Yes.
and I'm like, well, we're not impersonating her.
Right.
I'm like,
You're
yeah, we
reporting
post
on her.
we post pictures of her and we
Yeah.
honor her, but I'm like, we're not pretending to be her.
Oh.
So I was like, yeah, you've got this wrong. Please review. And literally within a minute, the review came back like, sorry, it's shut down.
Yeah,
And I
the
had no,
AI is like, nope, you're done.
yeah, it was all AI, right? AI is doing it. So like you can't talk to a person, you can't repeal it, nothing. So it's just gone. And I'm like, okay, well, F you, Facebook. Like, I don't have the energy. So with that being said, remember you can find us on Instagram, X, and Threads at MLVC Podcast. If you'd like to donate to the show, we're on Venmo at MLVC Podcast or on our YouTube channel, you can hit that like button, and the like button allows you to do what they call a super thanks. So if you're international and can't do Venmo, you can donate via super thanks. And if you've not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, tick that subscribe button so you never miss a video. Um, Doug, thanks again for joining us. This has been great. I'm so happy that we were finally able to get you on the show after many years of being a supporter of the podcast.
Thank
Um,
you. It means a lot to me. And everybody support the show. Keep it on the air.
yeah. And remember, until next time, everybody, nothing really matters. Love is all we need. Stay there, Doug. Don't go.
Okay.
Just we're gonna say goodbye to the audience.
Bye.